Welcome to the Sheff United Way. My name is Hal. Thanks for being here with us for this Big Blades debate video. We're going to be talking about quite a few interesting topics, and we really want your opinions. Remember, this channel is yours as much as it is ours. We don't want to waffle on here our voices too much. We want to know what you think. But before we get into this interesting debate tonight, I would just like to speak about the League of 72 YouTube channel. It is a channel that is dedicated to bringing you content specifically from League 2, League 1, and of course, the Championship. Now, this channel host is absolutely brilliant. It's James Alcott. He is really, really good as an interviewer, does superb videos, and they create a range of videos from exciting season reviews, top 10 lists, fantastic interviews with current players and managers in the EFL, to success stories. For example, the Ben Brereton Diaz video, which is titled From Stoke to Santiago via Blackburn, which is great. It's a must watch, quite amusing as well. And the reason I bring this up is that on their channel, I saw a very interesting video for us Blades fans. It's former manager Danny Wilson being interviewed about Harry Maguire and how he gave him his first leg up in the world of professional football. Now, we all know that Harry was given a few games at the back end of the Championship season, but it was Danny Wilson who nurtured him during his first full season as a professional. And Danny speaks about how Harry was in those early days, his drive, learning from mistakes, and quickly shaping himself into the player that he is today. So if you'd like to check out that video, as well as other top quality content they have on their channel, you can either click the link in the description or just simply search League of 72. That's the number 7 and 2 in your YouTube search bar, and subscribe to them. That's important. Here he is, the man himself.
Hello.
Mr. Wavy Wave. It is Nick. How are you, Nick?
I'm very good, thanks, Hal. How are you?
Good. Thanks for throwing it back. We are going to have a big Blades debate tonight. We are going to be talking about, amongst other things, potential ins and outs, January transfers, contracts. 8 players have their contracts up. Who is going to be renewed? We're going to want your opinions. And of course, Nick, we need to talk about the season so far. So I thought, who better to get on this than you and the man, Adam. Statsman Adam, as some people know him on Twitter. What's going on, Adam?
Yeah, all good, boys, all good.
Love that shirt. Nick, you got that shirt, haven't you?
Oh, I've got that shirt. I don't know where it is, but I've got it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. No idea, but really enjoying it. So we've got Sheff United Way merch, and we've got Adam wearing the classic. Adam, was that the one that was for season ticket holders?
Yeah, it was, with the names written through.
Fabulous. All right. Liking that
Don't
a lot.
do it, Hal. Don't do it.
I'm not going to mention it. You thought I was going to mention the fact that my name's on there. I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to bring that up. And I'm glad I didn't. You did. So let's start with the first question. Nick, I'm going to go straight to you. Season so far, here we are in December. We should really be talking about a game against Queen's Park Rangers, but we're not. So we're filling that time, hopefully successfully, by talking about the season so far. 21 games old for Sheffield United. What have you made of it?
Well, really, I don't think that it is 21 games old. I think it's 3 games old because it feels like a complete restart. And now, finally, we're heading in the right direction. But if we're going to talk about before those 3 games, negatives, it was awful. Well, it was mostly awful. Terrible defending. Defenders were awful in the air. Got bullied by everybody above us. The attacking was obviously sometimes incredible. Like that Peterborough game, it was just fantastic to watch. And occasionally, in matches, Morgan Gibbs-White would do something special or Illiman and die. But other than that, we really, really struggled under Slav. And I think for the most part, it was because we were playing players completely out of position. They're my negatives. I'll get on some positives before we ask Adam. But before Hecky took charge, we were closer to the bottom 3, obviously. And at that point, the only ones that we had, well, we'd beaten everybody that was below us. So Derby, Barnsley, Hull, Peterborough, Reading, because we all know Reading was the last game of Slav's reign, and we obviously won that game, which I think a lot of fans found it a bit weird that we got rid of him kind of just after winning a game. So really, to me, that signified that there was never really a worry of us going down because we could beat the teams below us. But that's not what we're thinking about, is it? We want to see our team towards the top of the division, at least going for playoffs, if not going for top two. Obviously, top two we think has been and gone. But now that Hecky's on board, we're all positive again. And really, I just don't really want to think about those first 18 games.
Fair enough. The thoughts of Nick. So, Adam, for those that watched your fans react to the announcement of Paul Heckingbottom, they'll already know that you were very much in the Paul Heckingbottom is the man to lead us to 104 points minimum. So how are you feeling now?
It's worked out as I thought. I'm not going to sit here and say, I told you so, but I'm right, aren't I? I mean, I thought that Hecky, it was a good move at the time. I said on the first fans forum to get rid of Slav, I got a lot of stick for it. I said somebody from within. Hecky is somebody from within, managed with the youngsters. It's going really well. The first 18 games were must do better. Like Nick said, we beat the teams below us. There was only Stoke, I think, were the only team above us that we beat when we played them. Other than that, it'd been abject. It wasn't exciting. We can accept losing games. We can accept sort of, as long as they're fighting for the shirt and giving everything. You know, if you lose games 3-2, you lose games 4-3, so what? But it was just the same old, is this going to be a 1-0? We were promised attacking football and we just simply didn't get it.
It's true, and there wasn't even like in between games that the press conferences were anything to look forward to either. So that's probably where I'll leave it there with Slav talk. Adam, what did you make of the press conference, which at the time seemed to divide opinion?
Interesting, wasn't it? I mean, the way that it was put out, it opened up a lot of questions. The wording that was used was very, very difficult, wasn't it? It didn't give clarity in my eyes. It's kind of, you had to read between the lines of what they were trying to say and what was going to happen. If you looked at it on the face of it, it looked a shambles. If you're an outsider looking in, you were thinking, hang on, old manager's won a game, off he goes. New guy's in, he's the footballing manager, whatever title he's been given, basically not in charge of the transfers. That's how I viewed it. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess. But
okay,
all that matters, it's all that matters are the results. It's the results that matter. Yeah. And you know what? You get players who play in their position and they do well. What a novel idea. Why hasn't a manager ever thought of that before?
So both myself and Nick have been in communication with the chairman, Youssef Giansirakusa. He is happy with us sharing this. Nick, it's also right that he wanted us to convey that he never meant for his quote to sound like he didn't care about Sheffield United, Sheffield, the city, or the fans. He was referencing the fact he didn't care if the term football manager would not go down well. I think he was just probably given some advice that saying that was a term that would not go down well is actually probably not true. I think we can all agree that it is exactly what we would describe Paul Heckingbottom as. There's a very popular computer game with the title Football Manager, and that seems to do well. I mean, the exact quote from Youssef, Paul will be the club's football manager. I am told that is not a title that will go down well here. I don't care. I am not from Sheffield. I am not a football man. I am the chairman. So he's saying, I don't care if you're not happy with the term football manager. I think that's a fair way of reading that, Nick.
Yeah, it was misquoted, wasn't it? That's what it was, and people picked the words that they wanted to hear, and I got it straight away. I got the fact that he wasn't saying he doesn't care about Sheffield or Sheffield United fans or football in general. Obviously, he does, or he wouldn't be in the job that he's in. Like he's been given this job title. He's obviously very well equipped to do his job. He's not going to stand there and say, "Oh, I don't care about any of you lot." Like, obviously, I think really, if you've misquoted it, if you've heard that and thought he said something else, then I don't want to say it, but you might be a little bit dim.
The opinions of Nick, not necessarily. Okay, I also want to mention today we are remembering former Sheffield United chairman, former Sheffield Wednesday player, Derek Dooley, who was born on this day in 1929. Sadly, no longer with us, but an absolute legend of the city of Sheffield. I don't think there's too many people, Adam, that could cross the divide and be so popular on both sides of the city. But Derek, that man. Absolutely.
Not many, like you said, would cross the divide and be popular, but he was a great guy. Always good to talk to around the club. Always. I remember when I was younger, he would always spend time and chat to everybody for 5 minutes, and he just talked football, and just an all-round nice guy. Shame he's no longer with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. We've had this question, can we get Youssef on the channel? Nick, we did ask, didn't we?
We did. He doesn't want to come on. It's to be honest, mate, I'm surprised that we've even got the Prince on. I think it's just great that we've got him on. We'll try and get more. We'll always endeavour to try and get more people on like that. But he's not one of these people that wants to really be on camera. I think if you probably gave him the option to not do the press conference, he probably wouldn't have, because that's the sort of bloke that he is. He doesn't want to be kind of centre of attention. You've got to respect that.
Yeah, he did say, didn't he, even in that press conference, and he reiterated it to us, that Betis and Heckingbottom are going to be the face and the voice of the club, and himself and the Prince are going to kind of fade into the background. You know, all we do as a fan channel is we approach probably, hundreds of people. 99 of them say no or don't respond, and sometimes they say yes and they speak to us, and it's great. And we always approach them, and sometimes they give us the time of day, and it's lovely when they do. Right, let's talk about some other things. A few people have questioned it. The new coach, it's already been popping up in the comments. Do let us know in the comments what topics you want to discuss, and we will do our very best to do that. Now, one thing we should know straight away, Nick, it looks like a defensive coach. Paul Heckingbottom has said he wants one more coach. He's got Stuart McCall, he's got Jack Lester. So you're thinking maybe if there's a theme, it would be a former player with Sheffield United connections, maybe, and it needs to be a defensive one. So I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you got any ideas who you'd like to see as the next coach, the third one?
Paul Shaw. It's got to be on there.
the attacker.
Chris Morgan. It's got to be. That's what you were wanting me to say, wasn't it?
No, because Chris Morgan is an agent now. So what you're saying, he's going to ditch all his clients and leave the agent job, which is a very well-paid job, I might add, and go into the uncertain world of football coaching where he could lose his job.
Mate, it's the chance to coach at Sheffield United, the club that he absolutely adores.
It's not going to be Morgan.
It could. No, it's probably not going to be, but I would like it to be.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that. Adam, talk some sense.
Well, Chris Morgan is the obvious choice. He is, if you look at it. If it's a defensive coach, someone like Phil Jagielka, when he hangs up at his boots at Derby, he would fit into the mould of the club and do a good job. Or could it be a goalkeeper? Could it be a former goalkeeper, someone like that, to step into the job? I know he's in employment at the moment, but I'd love to see someone like Alan Kelly. And I know he's currently employed elsewhere, but Everton. He'd be a great addition. Yeah, but he'd be a great addition.
Yeah, okay, Everton.
Might
be tricky.
It's who I'd like to see. I'm not saying it's going to happen. The question is, who would I like to see as coach? And Alan Kelly is someone I'd love to see as a coach.
Okay, Matt Duke, if you're watching, please. Your job is safe, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Jags in the comments. We've got Richard Stearman, somebody just saying that he's just got his badges. So that's a bit of a shout.
You could say, Nick,
all the time.
He's had a very stellar career.
Hey, there we go.
All right, new coach, keep your comments coming for that one. Paul Heckingbottom, Adam has placed a centre-back at the top of his January wish list. So do you expect to see a defender? And if so, what type of defender?
Got to be versatile, stating the obvious. You've got Egan, Basham, Davis, clearly they're the three. You've got to think who can step in if either one of those three is missing for whatever reason, whether it be injury, whether it be suspension, and someone who can step in and do a job straight away. I'm struggling for a name. I can't give you a name off the top of my head.
Yeah, that is the tricky bit. I was trying to think of this as well, and actual names. It's very, very difficult. In the comments, let us know if there's a defender you've seen that you think would work. Of course, Ben Davis, maybe, Nick, getting him signed. Is there any chance of that? I mean, what are your thoughts on this question in general?
I think that Ben Davis would be a very expensive defender to bring in. Obviously, he's probably not on the amount of money that kind of Virgil van Dijk are on and that, but he was always known as a very, very good defender in the Championship. So I can't imagine he'll come to Bramall Lane on barely anything. So what I would say, I'm going a bit left field here, Hal. So just go with me. I think it needs to be somebody big, strong, tall, great in both boxes. And I would sacrifice pace for someone who's a big, huge unit, because we've seen loads of them come to Bramall Lane and have an absolute field day just heading crosses away and also being very difficult to mark in our box. So John Egan currently plays in that position, right? So I would go and put John Egan at left centre back. John Egan already plays that for the Republic of Ireland. So that's what I do. I think John Egan is a completely different player to the one that we signed. I remember when we signed him from Brentford, Brentford said he was not a terrible footballer, but he certainly couldn't bring the ball out. I think John Egan is now a very, very good footballer, and he's so comfortable bringing that ball out of play. So for me, knowing that this doesn't need to be a left-sided centre-back, as in going forward and overlapping and stuff, he's probably not going to be using his left foot too much other than to clear and to pass. But John Egan, if you ever watch John Egan, and I suggest you do next time, he passes the ball with his left foot a hell of a lot. And I think that's him training himself on that left side for the Republic of Ireland. So I feel like John Egan would be perfect at that side. I think he's great in the air, but not good enough in the air to be that central centre-back. I think we need someone about 6'5", 6'6", massive monster that's going to kick and head.
Lenihan has come up as a really great shout. Someone the Blades have been linked with before. Flint, Jake Cooper. Those are the sort of players you'd maybe hear us being linked with. While we're talking about players at the back, Adam, I want your thoughts on this. So at the moment, if I was to say to you, you can play only one in that right wing back position, George Baldock or Jayden Bogle, who are you picking right now?
Right now, Jayden Bogle.
And why is that?
Q hard hat out. He's earned it on merit. He waited for his place in the side. He's got his place in the side. He's done well. He keeps the shirt for me. He's not had a bad game since he's come into the team. It's worked well. We're winning games since he's been playing. So why change a winning side? That's why at the moment he gets
see that. Yeah, I see that. Okay, now here's another one for you, Adam. When we had Slavica Jokanovic and we actually played with a right winger and a right back, why did we never get to see George Baldock at right back and Bogle further up the field on that right-hand side? A position I think all Blades fans believe he could operate in because he is so good going forward and not always the best defensively.
I'd have liked to have seen it, but yeah, you best ask that guy who was in charge. Slav, I mean, it's one of the reasons he had no idea, did he? I'm sorry, but he didn't. I have to be honest that, that if he was going to play that formation, that was something to have a look at, but he never did. So we'll never see it. But I'm back. I'm so happy we're back in the formation we are now. So it's not even a question.
Let me jump in here because I never wanted to see Bogle at right wing. Never. Why? Ben Osborne wasn't that good at left wing. Why? I know Bogle's more attack minded, but I just don't. I feel like Bogle's good at coming from deep and kind of joining the attack. I don't feel like he's somebody that's going to pick the ball up and run at defenders and actually beat them. I don't know. I'm not a massive Bogle fan anyway. I think Baldock beats Bogle every day of the week. Obviously, except for attacking, I think that Bogle has got a bit more going forward, but I just feel like Baldock, every other part of his game is better. However, I agree with what Adam's saying. He definitely deserves to stay there because he's been very good recently. And really, in the formation that we're using right now, he's got to play. He's playing in that sort of attacking right wing back role, but I just don't think he's good enough to play as a right winger. I feel like you need more pace, which he's got a bit of pace, but he's not got a hell of a lot. I wouldn't say he was quicker than Baldock. I think he's decent in the box when he's got a chance. Obviously, scored the goal against Reading, but I don't know. I don't think we should be trying to shove square pegs into round holes or whatever. I just feel like we need to be buying players for specific positions because it's never worked for us in the past.
Novel idea. I was talking to Jay, who works with Luton now, and was formerly on Blades Pod about signing players for specific positions and not just signing players because they're available and they're good. And he's saying that is the sort of model that a lot of clubs don't actually adopt. They do just sign players because they come available. Not the case at Luton. By the way, Wayne has asked us what's happened with Reece Norrington-Davis. He's just not in the frame at the moment. It's not that he's been. It's basically just a case of picking your favourite. And Enda Stevens, I think also the wage might come into it as well. Can you really leave someone like Enda, who's on a great deal more than Reece Norrington-Davis, out when he's fully fit? It's a question
I think recently you can, because I don't think he's had a good game. I think he's had one good game this season. And me and you saw it, Hal, didn't we, against Southampton? I thought he was fantastic. And it felt like he was trying to get his spot back. And then as soon as he got his spot back, it was like, I don't need to try that hard anymore. So I don't know. I would like to see Reece Harrington-Davies get another shout, but I'm completely with you. I understand if managers are going to play players because they're on a lot of money, because you don't want a lot of money sat on the bench.
I think for me, I think Ender's starting very slowly in this formation under Heckingbottom to get slowly back to the Ender that we know. He's got there, sort of contributed towards a couple of goals by getting upfield and sort of pulling it back like secondary assists. And just Ender Stevens in a 4, forget it. He's not a left back, but as a left wing back, he's starting slowly. He's nowhere near the standards he was. He's starting slowly to get back to the Ender of old, in my opinion.
Oh, we like to hear it. Okay, let's talk about contracts up at the end of the season for 8 players. You've got Lys Mousset, Jackie Longthrow, Billy Sharp, Ben Osborne, Luke Freeman, David McGoldrick, Gedura, and Christopher Basham. Nick, I'm going to start with you. I'll give you a name and you tell me, first of all, if you think their contract should be renewed, will be renewed, and if you'd actually agree that that decision is the right one. Lys Mousset, the easy one to start off with, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for that one. I would give him another year, only to see if we can sell him, because I think we all know that Lys Mousset is probably the best striker at the club when he's fit and when he is firing, because we've seen how good he's been in the Premier League. It wasn't for long enough, but we know he's got that in his locker. I don't want to see him go for nothing and then go somewhere else, get his fitness right, get his diet right, and go off banging goals and then playing for France. I really don't want to see that, because he could. That's what he could do. So I don't know. I would definitely offer him another year, but only because he's done stuff this season. He's scored a couple of goals this season, and if we'd not seen him at all, or we'd seen him come on and fall over his feet a few times, then I probably would have said, no, let's just let him go. But yeah, 1 year deal. See if we can get anything out of him. If we can't in the next few months, then yeah, try and get him sold.
It's probably a good shout, Nick. And also, you do have the option of the extension clause in contracts. I mean, people who play Football Manager will be familiar with just clicking the extension clause button rather than going into the nitty-gritty of sitting down at the table and having to negotiate. But if we were just talking black and white, keep or go, Adam, Lys Mousset.
Go, simply because he's too injury prone. Yes, he's got talent, but how much in wages can we keep throwing at him, hoping that he's going to do it? What are the goals going to bring? Last season, Premier League, he could have scored, if he'd been fit, 5 or 6 goals, which could have been crucial early on in the season, and he's worth his value alone. But, all right, he scored a couple this season, but not for me. I think there's better at the club in terms of reliability. If he stays fit, then yeah, absolutely, I'd give him a year, but I just don't see it happening. Sorry.
Okay, let's go on to the next one then. Also, let me know in the comments what you think about Lys Mousset. Jack Robinson, Nick.
Bye. Actually, no. I'm saying get rid, but at the same time, we don't have enough defenders for my liking.
Lapata,
especially left-sided defenders. Yeah. Obviously, Lapata's probably the closest, but think about it. He's back now, isn't he? He's not on loan anymore.
He actually is still on loan. He's just come back to the club to be assessed with the knee injury. The loan may end depending on the severity of the injury.
Fair enough, but still, we're now playing with 5 defenders, really. And I don't feel like too many players can play centre-back that we've got at the club right now. We've all seen how bad Ender Stevens has been in the past at playing that left centre-back role. Baldock's played right centre-back at times. So it is possible, but I would probably give him another year just so that we can get somebody in to replace him, really.
Interesting. Wow. Jackie Longthrow gets another year, according to Nick. Adam, were you as shocked as I was that you didn't want to speak to the Sheff United way at Luton, or do you?
I think it was just you, Hal.
Just me. All right, you want to speak to me, yeah.
For that alone, he's gone. Thanks, Jackie. No. On a serious note, if Hecky's bringing another defender in, then he's going to be surplus to requirements, isn't he? He's got a long throw on him. He's steady, but he's a liability for sometimes for the goals. So for me, is not good enough. And I would say thank you and goodbye.
Can I just quickly jump in there? Normally, you would at least want 2 players playing in the same position. So we've not really got anyone to replace Bash, have we? We've got Baldock and Bogle at right wing back. We've got about 1,000 players that can play a left wing back. We're struggling. We're struggling with actual centre backs. So all you need is 1 or 2 injuries or an injury and a suspension, and you're struggling.
Can I throw the name Gordon at you? Tyrone Gordon from the youth setup. Is he going to be good enough? Is Lapata going to be good enough? Can they actually step up to championship level?
I suppose it's Hecky's the perfect person to answer that, isn't he?
He is.
And he's the manager. So, yeah, well, I think if they can step up, Jackie Longthrow is gone. I really don't care. I really don't care about him. Like, he's messed up so many times, especially this season. I thought he was getting better in the Premier League. And then I think I actually said in a video that he's going to have a really good season. And he's made so many mistakes, so many bad mistakes. Like he's trying too hard at times, like throwing himself at headers and heading it in his own net. And like, he just misjudges so many headers. And for me, he's not good enough. I think he's a League One player. And I think he'd be a really good League One player.
I do. Yeah, I could see him playing in League One and actually standing out. And we saw against Everton away, he's got that ability as well, not only defensively when he's on it, but when he goes forward. Billy Sharp, Nick.
Billy Sharp, 100% one more year. I think they will give him that 1 year as well, because Billy Sharp, obviously, this season has proved that he can still score goals. Now, this kind of the last, 5 or 6 weeks, he's missed one-on-ones. He's missed the chances that you would normally expect him to put away, but he's still getting in those really, really good positions. So maybe it's just a poor patch for him, but he's still scoring in these poor patches. Like I say, he's getting himself into the position to score those goals when they're being put on his foot, like the one against Bristol City, like the one away against Cardiff. Like he's still missing these good chances like one-on-ones, but he's scoring goals still. So like I wouldn't want to see him go, not just because we all love him, but we need him.
Well, Billy's going to want to play first-team football until he literally hangs up his boots. And I think, Adam, he'll want to play first-team football next season. If the Blades can't guarantee him that, he may want one final season with another club that will play him week in, week out. What would you do with Billy Sharp?
It's not even a question. Give him a contract. The guy scores goals. I think Billy accepts that he's not a 90-minute, 46-game a season man now.
I don't think he does.
He wants to play as much as he can, but no, I get that. But we see that he does need a rest when he's played 4 or 5 games on the run. But he can come on as an impact and score goals. It's a no-brainer for me. Give the lad a new contract. If Billy then decides he wants to go elsewhere for the football, then you get a fee for him if he's under contract, don't you?
Fair enough. I mean, I think he's fitter now than when he was 29, to be honest. I really do. And I could see him being a successful manager or coach in the future. And I'd rather that he was with the club to go into that rather than see him have success elsewhere. That
Why are you trying to get rid of Hecky already?
I'm not. I'm saying come up with him. Come up with him. Everyone needs a fantastic assistant that you can learn from the main man, Hecky. And then when Hecky, because he won't be there forever, no manager is, when Hecky eventually, having lifted the Champions League, gets the England job, Billy is in the perfect position to step up with Nick Montgomery as his assistant.
Definitely not Chris Morgan, though. As long as I don't say Chris Morgan, I'm not going to get grief for it, am I?
He's an agent now. It's good money. Right, Ben Osborne. Adam.
Ben Osborne is a really interesting one because it's how much does Ben Osborne want to play football? So do I give him a contract? Yes, I do. But what is Ben Osborne's best position and where can you see him holding down a first-team position on a regular basis in this formation that we're playing? Who does he replace? So, yes, give him a contract, but it's up to Ben Osborne, in my eyes, that he deserves to have regular first-team football. Can I see him as a regular in this formation, in this Sheffield United 11? Sadly not, but he's great for someone who can step in multiple positions across the team.
It's a good point, actually. Where does he fit in this team? All right, Nick, here's that question then for you. Best position for Ben Osborne in the 3-5-2, where would you play him?
I was just going to say to Adam, what's the best position not in a 3-5-2? Because I'm still struggling to think, where does Ben Osborne play? Does he play as a defensive midfielder? Does he play as the left side of a 2 in midfield? Does he play as a left-hand side of midfielder? Does he play as a left back? I have got no idea. I think that his best position for us in this formation is left wing back. But the thing is, he's probably better than the other 2, or he's playing better than the other 2. But we all saw in that first game against Birmingham where he got beaten at the back post in the air. That's the thing. He's a tiny, tiny guy, and playing. I know he's not going to be playing left back. He's going to be playing left wing back. But we need to start having bigger players, like taller players, stronger players, and he doesn't fit that at all. Like, he's weak. He is. He's small.
Who are our tall left wing backs? They're all about the same height.
Well, they're all and Stevens is definitely taller than the other 2.
He's a little bit taller, yeah, but then none of them are giants. Jack Robinson would be the tallest player that could play left wing back.
Yeah, but at the same time, Ender Stevens, look at his arms, is hench. He's Absolutely. A henchman. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of them are really pulling up any trees at left wing back, but I do think that's his position. I don't think he's good enough to play midfield.
Interesting. Long term, I'd love to see Reece Norrington-Davies play left wing back. I think the best position for Ozzy is that left side of central midfield. And I actually thought he would get game time there with Fleck out. Wasn't the case, and actually Harahan's done very well in there. But we do have a lot of midfielders. Regan Slater, another one, and has not been given a look in. One that we brought in for some reason was Adlen Guedioura. Nick, what have you made of the Algerian?
I've actually not minded watching him. I thought against Southampton in the Cup, he looked really good. Win the ball, pass it, win the ball, pass it. He came on against Hull, and I think, obviously, he came in and smashed someone straight away. But we don't have any players like that. We don't have any players that are just ball winners. Like, even you look at Fleck. Fleck, you would say that Fleck, his job is to pick the ball up and drive with it. Now, he hasn't done that too much in the past kind of few months, in and out. But we don't have anyone that's specific job is to win that ball and pass it to somebody else. And I think we need someone like that, because Norwood, he wins the ball and then he sprays a beautiful pass. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a good thing, but Norwood's not a great defensive midfielder. He's a good ball player. He's got a great pass on him. He's got a great cross on him when he wants to have. But we need someone in there who's going to be big, strong, and wins those tackles and passes it to someone better than him. I don't know. Maybe Stuart McCall could get some kind of minutes out of Guedioura when he comes back from injury, because Stuart McCall, that's what he used to do. He used to win the ball. He used to pass it to Michael Brown or Michael Tong. Okay,
so Adam, Nick is saying he would rather a man approaching 40 was playing in the Blades midfield rather than a Sheffield United supporting lad like Harrison Neal, like Harrison Neal or Regan Slater. Adam, where do you feel Guedioura fits in, if indeed he does?
Well, Nick sort of took the words out of my mouth. Is the role that he would be what Stuart McCall did for the Blades in 2003. That's the role that he would play, breaking it up and passing it short, doing what he's good at. I've not seen enough of him, to be honest. I've got to be honest. I've not seen enough of him.
Well, Nick and I, we saw him. I'll get to that in a second. But I was going to say, Nick, the reason Nick is giving this kind of opinion is as I as well. We went to that Southampton game in the League Cup, and Guedioura really did stand out and played very, very well in that game. Adam, you were saying he's a record breaker. You're on about his booking at Hull.
Yeah, quickest ever yellow card on Sheffield United debut.
It's a record. It's impressive.
And I'm sure he didn't even touch him either.
No, it wasn't a booking.
Sure, he didn't touch him.
Nonsense. No. All right, some easier ones now. Didsy, David McGoldrick. Nick, are you a fan?
Nah, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Now, obviously, I'm messing. People give me grief all the time because I let him off when he has a bad game. But no, I've said offer him one more year. But for me, I feel like Didsy could go on for another 3 or 4 years. Like, it doesn't matter how old he is. Like, when I start seeing him not play as well or not get about the pitch as much, maybe my opinion may change. But right now, I feel like he's still playing the best football of his career. Like, he's thriving under Hecke. So, yeah, 100%, he needs a new contract straight away, and he'll definitely get one.
All right, don't forget to give the video a like if you're just joining us. And also, Didsy, keep or let him go? Let us know in the comments. Adam, David McGoldrick.
Yeah, keep. Keep it
All
nice
right,
and
well,
simple.
oh, I thought that's what you're doing with your answer. Okay, have you got more?
No, I was going to say, keep it nice and simple. Keep David McGoldrick. He does what David McGoldrick does best. He's not a goal scorer, but he's creative and he's got the most intelligent footballing brain at the club.
Can't dispute that. Luke Freeman, we haven't really seen much of him, Adam. I mean, it could be a case of we spent quite a bit of cash for Sheffield United on a player that actually plays in all the positions we've been talking about that we've needed for the last few seasons. When we were looking for a left winger, he can play there. We didn't really see him. When we were looking for a player that could play just in that Duffy role, as we like to call it, he could play there. Didn't really get the opportunity. Didn't pull up any trees when he went to Forest. But what do you think about Freeman?
Something not quite right. Why isn't he getting the game time? What is it? Is it an attitude issue? I don't know. I mean, the guy's undoubtedly got talent, but he doesn't seem to apply it, and he hasn't grasped his opportunities when he's had it. The start of the season, I was calling out for him, play Freeman, but he's not made the most of his opportunities. So he's kind of a forgotten man, and I'm indifferent. If he goes, he goes. It's just hopefully try and recoup a bit of the money that we paid for him.
Nick?
I feel like it's a bit harsh, that, because I thought when he came on against Luton, he ran the show.
He did, didn't he? It was great.
And I think that's only because players around him weren't playing well. I feel like he's a player that needs to be in a kind of a side where he's the big fish in the small pond. And he kind of gets lost when he's... I feel a lot of people said he was overweight. When he was playing under Slav and he was coming on and he's not a quick player. We know he's not a quick player, but he needs to be in that kind of Duffy role, like you said, just kind of creating things, because he's never going to steam past someone, beat three men and smack one in the top corner. He might well smack one in the top corner, but he's just not. He's not got that fitness. Fair enough, but he's also been really unlucky with injuries as well. He's had a hell of a lot of injuries for us and for Forest. That's the reason why he didn't play too much for Forest. So I probably wouldn't give him another contract, but at the same time, I still think he's a good player. And if we did give him a contract, we could see something from him.
Football fans, eh? Nick and I were at Luton away at the end of the match going, Freeman. Yeah. Here we are, a few months later going, get rid. All right. Final one for the 8 players whose contracts are up. And yes, the club could exercise that contract renewal option, but we're just making it black and white on this programme for keep or get rid, because that's what football fans are like. Chris Basham. Adam, Chris Basham, it's a no-brainer, surely.
It is, absolutely. Take him the contract now. Take him a pen. Sign there, Chris. As long as you want, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Close to becoming the new Mr. Sheffield United, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But do you not take into account his age, Adam?
Yeah, but he's not showing his age, is he? Let's be honest. Since he's come back into that team, Chris Basham gives absolutely everything. Now, I will hold my hands up. Was it 3 seasons ago now? At the start of the season, I said to you, Hal, Chris Basham, playing in the Premier League, not a cat in hell's chance. Should be nowhere near that first team. And
we disagreed over that, didn't we?
We did, and I've not eaten just a slice. I've eaten a whole really bakery full of pies, humble pies, that is. Chris Basham, he's the first name on the team sheet for me. And absolutely, 100% a new contract. Move on.
All right, Basham, keep. Nick?
Have you ever seen Basham tired? Because I certainly haven't. He's about, how old is he? About 30, 34, 35, something like that? And
he's 33, and he'll be 34 in May.
See, it feels like he's been around for that long that he should be older, but actually, I honestly think, and people might laugh at what I'm going to say, I think he's one of those players that could play until he's about 40 years old. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be playing Championship football at that time, but I certainly think we can get 3, 4, maybe even 5 more years out of him. I really do. He's got such an engine on him. He never says die. I don't think we'll ever see a day when he phones in a performance. Like, the man, you can't have enough of those players.
4 more years. 4 more years. All right, let's talk about Koulibaly, Ismaila Koulibaly. I did a video on Koulibaly. I'm not going to make Nick's life more difficult and say, and if you click the link there, you can go straight to it. I won't do that.
I can't do that anyway.
just search it. Just search it. It's a great video, if I do say so myself. So there's a chance that we will lose players in January because, Heckingbottom has said it's more likely they'll be outs than ins. And in that sense, does Koulibaly make sense to bring back from his loan at Beershot? We've never seen him play. He's technically Sheffield United's player. He's been bought with cash money, yet we haven't seen a second of him on the grass at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Now, the thing that gets really confusing, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, is the work permit side of things. The points that you earn 5 points for making a debut as a youth player. He earned 5 points for that. They've now expired. So he goes back to the basic 10 points for being contracted to a club in the Belgian First Division. Now, you need to play 40% of available minutes to earn the next 5 points. If you're injured, you're not losing out on points that you could have earned because they're not available minutes. And work permit status changes. And I mean literally every game day. You play a game, you could be eligible. You miss 2 games, you're not eligible. And if Beershot are relegated to the Belgian Second Division, and let's be honest, that's looking highly likely, it's band 6 in work permit terms, and you only get 2 points for playing for a Belgian Second Division club. An additional 2 points if you play over 90% of available minutes in a Belgian Second Division side, but you need 15 points to move to Sheffield United. Now, there is even more detail on this. I don't want to go into it too deeply. But the other thing to consider is, if we bring him to Bramall Lane and he doesn't play, we might not be able to sell him to another club because he wouldn't meet their EU work permit rules, because we have to remember he's not a European citizen.
Wow. Shall we move on?
You know what, though? I think it makes a really good point.
That.
He's Malian, I should have said. But Adam, doesn't it just make the point that if he's not going to be a part of Sheffield United's first team, these complicated rules post-Brexit are actually kind of detrimental to moving a player either coming back or selling?
Yeah, I mean, the rules, you need an absolute degree. I consider myself intelligent, but the way you were talking there, it's like listening to the outcome of a Eurovision Song Contest. You get 12 points for this. Greece will give Cyprus 12 points no matter what happens. So you've got to give him a shirt for him to pick up 3 points, 5 points, whatever it may be. The first season he had, saw clips of him, looked good. Yeah, real prospect. Thought, yeah, get this guy back. There was a lot of clamour in the summer for him. Let's get him back. This year, Beershot have had an absolute shocker. They're going down.
A beer shocker, you could say.
Yeah, going down quicker than what we did last season. And let's be honest. I haven't seen anything of him. He could come in. He could be absolutely brilliant. He could play the first 2 or 3 games, bit garbage, and never be seen again. It's whether they want to risk it. He's our asset. Where's the best that we're going to get the best out of him? I don't know the rules, whether he plays in under 23s, whether that picks up points, whatever the situation is with that. Can we play him in under 23s? Who knows?
Stop confusing. Don't ask more questions. Look, I'll make it really simple for you, Nick. If we are going to sell players in January, midfield players like Sander Berge, would it make sense to bring Koulibaly back, because this might be the last chance we can bring him back if Beershot go down?
First of all, there's no way that we're selling Sander Berge, because he's not shown enough to deserve a move, really. We've probably seen him play 1, maybe 2 good games. He's been injured a lot. He's been injured a hell of a lot. We're probably not going to see anyone come in for him, really. However, I would still bring this lad back. He's 20 years old, Hal. I would get him in our under 23s, see how he copes with that. If he passes with flying colours, then we bring him towards the first team. But my first thing would be bring him back, get him in the under 23s, get embedded into kind of English football, how we play football. Can he even play the role that we want him to play in our formation, the tactics that we play? Let's see. Let's see how good he is. Because really, for me, I don't watch a lot of Belgian football. But if we played Beershot, I'm sure we'd beat him.
Well, Roy makes the point how Koulibaly was signed before Brexit. Absolutely. What I should have said when I was saying about, signing players like this is, now, in the situation we're currently in, does it make sense? And in fairness, the club haven't been going out and signing, lots of players from Mali. So yeah, it's a good point that you raise. I think Koulibaly is going to be one that the club are just going to have to make a decision on, but they need to make it soon, I think, because of the likelihood of Beerschot being relegated, which is, it's not something we necessarily should really care about, but they're now part of United World, and whatever your thoughts are on United World, I don't think you want to see clubs in United World do badly. Morgan Gibbs-White, we're probably going to finish on this. So if you've got any questions, get them in now with your typing hands. And if you're watching later, pop them in the comments below. Adam, Morgan Gibbs-White, how fearful are you that he could return to Wolves? They have quite a depleted squad, and worst case, he could even play against the Blades in the Cup.
Very fearful, because he's been a bright spark for us. He does drift in and out of games. He's young, he's learning, but he's definitely somebody that we'd like to keep at the club for the season. Realistically, beyond the season, it's not going to happen. I don't think we've got the funds in place to sign him permanently. I'd like to see the other rule exercised where he can play against his parent club without permission. So he could score the winner for Sheffield United at Molineux, kiss the badge. The Wolves fans and the Wolves board will see it and be that disgusted by his behaviour, they'll let him join us on a free. Is that just dreaming?
Yep, that's dreaming. I mean, okay, here's one for you, Nick. Morgan Gibbs-White, if he does go back in January to Wolves, which I actually don't even want to contemplate, could it see the resurgence of Iliman Ndiaye filling that position?
It could be, but they're not the same player. Nowhere near. I'm not 100% sure what Iliman Ndiaye's best position is, but we've not seen a player like Morgan Gibbs-White at Bramall Lane. And this is going to sound weird to say, but since sort of like Matt Phillips, and I know they're both on loan, and maybe that's the reason why I've kind of made that sort of comment. But we don't have players who pick the ball up and just kind of run at players. We just don't have it. Like maybe Michael Tong back in the day when he used to pick the ball up and directly run at players, but we don't seem to have these sort of players. We like obviously Chris Wilder bedded in this passing way of playing football, and we don't have many fast players. He's not particularly fast himself, but he's just fantastic on the ball. He's so direct. He wants to get forward. He wants to score goals. He wants to create goals. If you're asking me the question about whether we see him going back, I don't think Wolves bring him back. It's only like Jebbison being on loan in League One. I think most fans want to see Jebbison do well at League One and then advance his career. I can't see Morgan Gibbs-White going back there and getting a game. And really, if he's playing well in this side, I think there's more chance of Morgan Gibbs-White leaving us if he's not playing well. But I think they just then send him on loan to another Championship club that are playing well because they want him playing good football. And I think really there's no chance of obviously Wolves going down. They're having a half decent season to say that they started really poorly. But I think they want to see him have a full season at the Championship level, scoring goals, playing well, being a fan's favourite, and then coming back and being this brilliant footballer. Because you can't 6 months. I don't think he's built for the Premier League just yet. I think a full season in the Championship where he's the best. For me, he's the best player in the Championship. He really is. And I think he could go back there no problem and get into the Wolves side. But I think he needs to have one full season in the Championship. And yeah, we're never going to sign him. Never in a million years. He's way too good and way too expensive for us to sign him. But no, I can't see him going back at all. I don't think they'd do it.
Adam, yes, no. Morgan Gibbs-White, one day, does he play for England?
Yes.
He already plays for England.
Well, not the first 11. I think we're going to leave it there. So, Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good stuff. And Adam, always great to have the stats man on. If people want to follow you for more of your statistician stats, where would you point them?
At Adam Blade 83.
Fabulous. It sounded like there was an inflection like an Australian. I was expecting more, but you finished it there. Fair enough.
It was originally on the screen, wasn't it, Adam?
Yeah, I got rid of that. I don't want him getting too many followers.
That's it. Fearful of me getting more followers than him. That's the problem, Nick. That's the problem.
I can't have any more.
That's what he's all about. That's what he's all about. He doesn't support his friends.
Thanks to each and every one of you for watching. Do check out the League of 72 channel as well.